What's up, everyone? I'm James, and I'm here to talk about the best episode of Bad Batch Season 3 so far, Episode 5, The Return. This is an incredible episode because it not only does exactly what the last episode told us it was going to do. So you have this reunion between Omega and the rest of the crew, but then when Crosshair walks off of that ship, you're like, oh, it's on. All of a sudden now you want to see exactly what's going to happen. And this episode picks right back up with that and says immediately, like, where's Crosshair? He wasn't on the ship. He's trying to be separate. He got up before anybody else. It was so good, this dynamic that they built in from the beginning of the episode all the way to the end of the episode. You see this pushback between him and Hunter very specifically. Echoes back. They get together. They have a mission that they need to go on. They execute. They do the mission. They're successful. I just loved everything about this episode. It perfectly encapsulates what we like out of the Bad Batch, and it still had that heaviness. I mean, I'll just say, I'll get to like my favorite part. It is that back and forth between Hunter and Crosshair. But even really, like, one of my favorite things about this episode was that when they needed something, Crosshair said, I know a place that we can go to. And he sort of was a little bit reluctant maybe on making it happen, but they went to this place, and you discover that it is the same location that he was stationed at in one of the best episodes of season 2. I think everybody really liked that episode, liked that story, liked that progression, saw where it went. And then now to go back to that place and sort of have to relive those moments where he was making those really hard decisions. But he was needing to do it to be able to prove to the rest of the team that he's like in it, and I'm back on your team, and I know it's tough, but like, this is where I'm at. And then to finally get to the end of the episode where he says, I really thought that what I was doing was the right thing. And it's just tough as a soldier because we don't get to see the whole picture. We only get to see what we're told to do. And in often cases, when it seems wrong, it actually is right. And when it seems right, it's actually wrong. Crosshair just was in a situation where he thought he was doing the right thing. When you look at Star Wars as a whole, it's almost tough to be like, no, we have an established government, and then like that's normal. And then we have a group of people who are like rebelling against that. That seems like the wrong thing to do, that seems crazy, culty, I don't know, whatever it is, but like you have these people that are like breaking away from the government, and then they just start like bombing military bases and stuff. It doesn't seem normal at all and okay. And a lot of times you can sort of understand with these Bad Batch characters that like they only get to see portions of the story, whereas like we sort of like are overarching the whole story of Star Wars, and we're like, okay, well, we know which sides are the good sides and the bad sides. It's all still point of view, even from our position as fans, but even more so if you really take into account like the day-to-day of these specific soldiers, it is tough to make that decision. And I think Crosshair has his eyes open to maybe the mistake that he's made, and he's trying to reconcile that with the rest of the Bad Batch. Dude, great episode. Loved the episode. I do a one thing that I didn't like about it. If I had to look for something, it was probably the fact that there was another giant monster. And I think Wrecker even says this in the episode. It's like, why is there always a giant monster? And I'm like, I know, actually, like now we're 5 episodes in, and I think I was trying to count. And I was like, the 4th, the 5th, or, I don't know, man. It's like the 4th or the 5th giant monster we've had. So basically every episode has had some type of alien creature that is going to get them, but they manage to get away. And I'm like, we could pull back on that, especially since like my favorite thing about the episode, and maybe it's in a different demographic, because like younger kids might say like, well, I liked when they escaped the big creature, and I don't know anything about the the war aspect of, you know, what they're going through. So maybe it's like different levels, and that's probably a smart move on their part. But from my perspective, my review, I just kind of I'm getting tired of seeing like the giant monster come out and they just need to like figure out a way to get away from it. It's still exciting. It's still very cool. And I think that when you look at the Bad Batch, I don't blame them for doing that necessarily. I'm just saying, if I'm looking for something in this episode to kind of, you know, say is like a little bit of a loss, that's probably the little bit of loss for me. But other than that, that's episode 5. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments or on social, anywhere you're seeing this. Just reach out to me, let me know. And make sure to join our regular podcast, the Resistance Broadcast, where I'm joined with John and Lacey, and we're talking about regular Star Wars news, whether it's like the news, like I said, or it's just discussions and other little tidbits and things. We kind of talk about the what ifs of Star Wars and things like that. But that's twice weekly, so you have plenty of Star Wars content going around from our channel. Just join, give a like, leave a comment, do whatever you want. Just interact with us. Let us know how you're feeling about that stuff and the Bad Batch reaction show. So if you're liking the show, do all that stuff and come back and see me next week when I review episode 6. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. But when it comes out, I will do a video and I will see you then.